Alright y'all, what's going on? Welcome to Cool Fishing Stuff here on the Bass All Year channel. Today we're going to be covering a product, a fishing reel. Now we haven't done a reel, we've done some other different products, some fishing tools, terminal tackle, and even some baits, but today we're going to be focusing on a reel, Baitcast reel at that. Now if you're new to the channel, love for you to subscribe, love to have you here. Like I said, just make sure you subscribe to the channel. There's always tons of weekly content that I push out, and I'm active duty Army, so there's a lot of the time where a couple weeks go by I don't have videos, but I always have something going on, whether it's on Instagram, Facebook, or here on YouTube. So just to jump right into this video, we're going to be talking today about the KastKing Assassin. It's a 6-3-1 bait casting reel. It's a right hand retrieve, and it's right at 6 ounces. It's a very light reel, and there's some awesome key components on this, but aside from the components, aside from what this thing is made of and the build of it, is retailed at $59.99. That's right, it's a $60 reel. Now before you get all hesitant with it, I'm a huge guy on reels. I'm a big believer in, on the water, your best tool is going to be your reel itself, whether it's a spinning or a bait cast reel. Because a rod you can kind of get away with different lengths, but there's only so many reels you can use that are going to be good tools for you out there on the water. I mean, in the end, you have to be able to make a good cast, make good flips in order to be able to fish these reels effectively and catch fish effectively. So I'm big into all the brand names. Now, if you've followed the channel long enough, you know that I've pretty much fished every rod and every reel company out there, and I have my favorites. So why not try another one? Like I said, we found this one online, and a little disclaimer, I'm not affiliated with this company at all. They didn't branch out and pay me a stupid amount of money like a lot of these guys on YouTube will tell you that, oh, I'm not getting paid, but they are. I'm not. I don't make money on any of this stuff. I do it for pure information, pure fun, to push out to you guys and the you guys are viewers in the fishing industry. So the basic build of it, and it's actually really nice. It's got a carbon fiber handle and EVA foam grips, which are really good, real beefy. You can grab them real nice. Now this beauty's got 11+1 bearings. What that means is that one additional rolling bearing. And you know, when you're looking into reels, there's a couple of different features you really want to pay attention to. A clicking metal aluminum star drag, which is one of the key points I'm always looking for. It's a big old spool. It's a super light reel, very light. Holds 100 yards of line on that spool. Got about 80 to 85 yards of 14-pound fluorocarbon on there. Tension knob on the side that does not click, which is a downside of the reel, but again, look at the price range. And then the side plate comes off with this little toggle, comes down, you turn, and then you have a dual braking system here, which is awesome precision casting. I've always been huge on DBS's, you know, dual braking systems. Now all you have to do, there's a little red dot there, as you can see, over the number 5, and obviously less being 0, more weight or more brakes being 6, and you just move that black ring. So now we have it. See, now we have it at 0, and all you have to do is just grab it and move it, and it's easy to move. So right now I'll set it at 5, just to have it at kind of a high when I take the first cast with this, because I have not casted it. So that's it. Let's throw this thing. We're gonna put it on a 7-foot medium heavy Ducket Ghost. I think that's kind of a you know, a normal popular rod that a lot of people fish with. Your rod length's really going to affect how you're casting, so I don't want to have a big you know, 7'6" rod and telling you that I'm casting a mile with this reel. I'm going to give you the bare perfect field test, truthfully honest. I'm not getting paid for this. They're not sending me 3 dozen reels for free. You're not going to find me on their website with a big smile on my face. No, this is something that I think would be really good to youth anglers. Not so much you tournament guys that are fishing 250 plus days out of the year, but definitely you youth guys and guys that are fishing around smaller lakes and ponds like this. This reel is going to be super clutch and really fit your budget and your price range and do a really good job for you. What we're also going to be doing today is fishing this reel and giving it a field test at this lake behind me. And I'm going to be testing it on a couple different keys. You know, I love throwing weightless plastics. I love it. It's one of my big confidence keys on when I know I can go and catch fish anywhere with, you know, weightless plastic. So we're going to test it fishing a 3-aught wide gap hook with a soft jerk bait. It's weightless, very light. We're also going to be throwing a square bill crankbait on it. So I'm going to throw it on the rod here. Now, just from the get-go, it is a pretty bulky reel. It does stand pretty tall. It kind of feels a lot like a Bass Pro Shops Pro Qualifier. It's kind of that same size reel. It's not too low profile, but definitely holds pretty comfy in the hand. The handle design, the swept handle like that, is always something cool to look out for. It has that sweep, and just having carbon fiber. It's sturdy, it's durable, it's a sleek look, but it's just real cool design how that carbon really shines in the sunlight. Again, I'm just rigging up a bare 3-aught extra wide gap hook on 14-pound fluorocarbon. So just bare, and then just a simple soft plastic fluke style bait, soft plastic jerk bait. This is a bait that I throw a lot, and it's one of my keen baits that, you know, if you're buying a reel, you want to make sure that it's going to fit the functionality that you're going to be fishing. You know, you don't want to buy some $300 reel that you really don't need, which is why we're looking in on this reel now. So I'm gonna throw the chest cam on so I can kind of get a better in-depth video with you guys. I'm gonna throw that on, we'll get talking on the GoPro. All right, so I have, let's take this knob. I have my brake on the side set at 5. I have the external brake set, we'll put that at 7. 9 is max, obviously 0 minimum. And then my tension knob is pretty tight. Now, little simple tip and trick when you're adjusting your reel for the first cast, you know, when you buy it off the box or whatever, put your rod kind of straight out, and it should take your bait about 3 seconds to drop from the rod tip to the ground. That's about good, especially with minimum wind. Again, weightless fluke, about to take the first cast, KastKing Assassin. Okay, wasn't bad, didn't get a backlash, it just loose line and bounced back. I zipped that thing out there though. Let's buff this at 8. Casted that really well. It's super light. I mean, this is a really light setup on this ducket with this reel. I'm not so much like, oh man, I got one, look at that. That's pretty cool. All right. I was literally just about to say I'm not so much trying to catch fish today, more or less talk about the reel, but I'll take it. First cast. Man, it doesn't get any better than that. That is sweet. First cast on the KastKing. Good 13.5 incher. Oh, that is great. You can't make that stuff up. That's awesome. I got that on film. 2 minutes into fishing. All right, second cast. Kind of seems like the tension knob is pretty sensitive on this reel. What I mean by sensitive is if you push it just a little bit, like 1/8 of an inch forward or 1/8 of an inch back, it can make all the difference in your cast. Let's just reel back up. We don't need to sit here and try to catch fish all day. All right, so tighten up the tension knob to where the spool is just barely moving. Right there. Super smooth cast there. Let's reel that back up. All right, this time you can watch it. I'm not putting my thumb on the spool or nothing. Now, the only reason it backlashed there is because it hit the water before I could put my thumb back on the spool. Again, another smooth freaking cast. But man, this thing is super smooth on the reel. It's not the quietest, you know, performing reel. It's not like super stealthy and silent when you're reeling it, but yeah, I'm not even putting my thumb on the spool. This thing's casting easy 35 yards, which is great on a soft plastic. That's awesome. But yeah, you can hear it. It's a really loud, it's pretty loud. All right, so we're gonna cut off the weightless plastic. It did great with this jerkbait and catching a fish. That was pretty cool. I really, I didn't come down here expecting to catch one on the first cast with that reel. So now I'm gonna throw on a crankbait. This is a KVD 1.5. It's pretty small, but it's got a good enough a weight that it should cast, you know, fine on the same setting as the jerkbait. I should not have to tune this reel at all. I should be able to buff it out and make the same cast that I did with the soft jerkbait and cast just as far, if not farther. First cast pretty good. All right, here we go, cast number 2. That was pretty sloppy, but no backlash. But you can tell, I mean, you can hear how loud it is reeling and how loud it is casting, which is a down factor of it, but definitely doesn't affect its performance whatsoever. I think why it's so loud is because I have the brake, the internal brake. I have that on 5, so I think it's kind of screaming through those brakes. I'd say it casted that relatively well as well. You know, I'm casting it a little harder because it is heavier than the jerkbait. Let's take this back up and we'll get on the big camera here. All right, so hopefully the wind doesn't bug us up too much, but man, what a great test. It really fished a fluke really well. I just went back out and casted it for another 10-15 minutes, just work around, see if I can catch a couple more, but no luck. But it really performs good at $60. You know, there's a couple other reels out there, name brand, that are selling for around that $60-70 price, but they don't have as cool look as this reel, and they definitely aren't as light as this reel is, and they do not feature the dual braking system, which is one super clutch thing on this reel. So it's really hard to find something where you're going to be able to get both those features inside of a $60 reel at this weight. You know, weighing in at around 6 ounces, it's pretty excellent. Some things that I noticed that do stand out why it is $60. It's kind of the feel. You know, you pick it up and you hold it in your hand. You can kind of just, the exterior build of it, I really don't know how to explain it, because it's one of those things you really have to hold and really just feel. But I mean, you can just take a look at it and you just kind of feel it, and you're like, you know, it doesn't feel, it feels $60. You know, you get what you pay for on these reels. Another thing that stands out for me really is just how loud it is. It's not exactly the smoothest reel. It's not the smoothest casting reel, and as you could tell, it was really loud when you cast. Not that that affects the performance of the reel at all, but it's just one of those things that stands out to me. You know, for me, that doesn't matter. It's not gonna, obviously it's not gonna matter if you're gonna catch fish or not with how loud the freaking reel is. I'm just saying, those are kind of some things that lash out at me, you know. I have 2 of these. I don't see this thing lasting longer than a year tournament fishing. I honestly don't. But for $60, you're well worth gonna get your money. If this thing lasts you 2 years, you've soared and considerably used your money on that. Let me tell you, I've had $500 Zillions and I've had $200 Revos. This thing right here, if it's definitely gonna perform up to standards of $100 reels. I mean, there's nothing that screams that this thing's you know, a POS, it's a piece of crap, nothing like that. You're definitely gonna have a little bit of tuning to do with the reel out the box to kind of figure out what baits it's going to throw at what positions. As far as with a soft plastic, a weightless soft plastic, and a crankbait, I had to kind of dial the brakes down for the crankbait just to kind of zip it where I needed it. But that fluke, I mean, out the box, it was perfect. As you saw, first cast, smooth cast, and a fish on. So the durability standpoint, this is veer. This is going to go towards more of your weekend warriors. This is obviously, this isn't somebody that's fishing in the Bassmaster Opens. I'm sure that's where the company would like to stand, but I don't think this thing right here is going to perform up to those standards of fishing for 8 to 10 hours a day for 5-6 days out of the week, you know. But it's also not built and leaned towards that. I think it's more leaned for weekend warriors, bank fishermen, pond fishermen, the youth, all that, and it's great for that. I really think it opens the door to a whole new market for weekend warriors. Being active duty Army like myself, I really only get the weekends to fish unless I'm fishing for 1 or 2 hours after work, which is not very often. So this thing right here, I think really fits. It's gonna fit a lot of people's budget. Definitely check it out. There's a couple different retailers you can buy it through, and I'd like to see this thing in some bait shops. You know, around my area, I don't really have huge bait shops. I have bait shops that kind of veer towards more of the local guys, and I'd love to see reels like this in those kind of bait shops, because for 60 bucks, man, it's pretty impeccable reel. So $60, KastKing Assassin. I'm not here to tell you to go out and buy this thing. That's not what I'm here. I'm not praising this product for you to hit Amazon and buy this thing. I'm telling you, if you're in the budget for under $100 reels, this is something you should definitely keep your eye to and definitely glow on, because this thing's pretty stout. If it's something that's gonna fit in your budget, check it out, because I highly recommend it for $60. If you're kind of like a tournament guy and you're kind of veering towards, do I spend my money on other reels or do I just settle for this? Settle for one and then buy something else, you know, $130, $150, something like that. But definitely something just to have and try out. For $60, what are you losing? I mean, if you just need to put it, if you don't like it, for 60 bucks, you put it in the rod box and have it for schooling fish or whatever. It's definitely not junk, it's definitely not crap, and it's definitely something to check out for $60. Other than that, guys, again, something to check out, KastKing Assassin here on Cool Fishing Stuff, here on the Bass All Year channel. Thanks for tuning in, thanks for subscribing, thank you for watching, thank you for coming back and just being a loyal viewer. I really appreciate that. So until next video, guys, thank you for staying tuned again. Tons of content coming your way. In the week prior, I will be gone for a little bit, so you might see a little less videos, but definitely wanted to push this out to you and get a cool fishing stuff out so you can check this thing out and check it out online. KastKing on Instagram if you want to see more products. Till next video, guys, we'll see you soon. Take it easy till then. Later.